I studied the sayings of the prophet as my daily meal. I could live as a little child. I could live for a number of few days without taking anything. I'm just on the Quran.
As in fasting?
In fasting, just studying in hadiths, the sayings of the Quran, of the prophet. I studied the Sahabas, that is the disciples that are very close to him, the child. At the age of 5, I started fasting.
Wow, at 5?
Yes, at 5.
Like what kind of fasting?
Fasting.
As in no food for a whole day?
Welcome to Get Enlightened Media.
Why we're putting this out. We're putting this out first and foremost for Christians, for believers around the world, to really receive a fresh burden for prayer, for Muslims to encounter Jesus like never before. The Lord has been burdening our hearts for some time now. And in fact, as a ministry, we are calling a 40-day fast during Ramadan, where we're calling Christians from around the world to contend for Muslims to encounter Jesus. What we're talking about in this video you're about to watch is really exposing extreme Islamic.
I'm so glad that you've tuned in, and it's going to be an exciting time in the presence of the Lord, because the Lord is everywhere. And I can assure you that there's going to be a shift at the end of this interview.
Yeah.
Thank you to have me here.
Oh, it's so good to have you. I'm so excited about what we're going to be talking about. Now, I came across a snippet of your testimony in the summertime in the UK. I think it was at a conference. I was ministering there, and you just came up to give a short exhortation. And literally, the snippet I heard got my attention, especially because of lots of things that happened afterwards. And you were born into a Muslim family, and you were born in the heart of Islam. You were radical to the core. So I want you to just take a moment to just give us the scenario. What was life like for you as a child, and what context were you in? Because many people watching have no clue what it's like to be in that world.
I was born into a very committed religious family as Muslims. My father was one of the most awarded Second World War veteran. He fought during Second World War, and they were part of the team that were able to win the war. And so Islam was not just a religion to us. Islam was a culture in my father's house. My father was a very, very devoted Muslim. And so, one, being a soldier; two, the discipline; three, the commitment. The spirit of a soldier is a spirit of loyalty. And so there's no compromise to that. And so what you hold there, now in my entire lineage, Christianity, had not existed.
Wow.
Nobody was a Christian. Christianity was not allowed close by. Their tenets, the text of the Christian faith, is not allowed in my house. So the name Jesus was just a mere name. It's just a mere apostle. It is a taboo, it's an abomination to call Jesus the Son of God. Krollahu ahad, Allahu samad, walam yulid, walam yulad, walam yakullahu kufuwan ahad. So there's no way you can ever refer to Jesus Christ as the Son of God.
So what you just quoted there is from the Quran.
Yes, it's from the Quran. And so it's like making an oath. And this is the oath that keeps you as a Muslim. And so, born into the family, I grew up to be one of the child that is very, very close to my dad. And so I inherited his passion. I inherited his perspective. I inherited his pattern of life. And because I want to please my father, I dreamt to be one of the closest person to Prophet Muhammad. I emulated, I followed, I patterned my life after Muhammad. I studied the sayings of the Prophet as my daily meal. I could live as a little child. I could live for a number of few days without taking anything. I'm just on the Quran.
As in fasting.
In fasting, just studying in hadiths, the sayings of the Quran, of the Prophet. I studied the Sahabas, that is the disciples that are very close to him, that were very, very close to him. One of them is Bildad. He is a dark-skinned man, an African. He's one of the strongest. So, looking at an African closest to the Prophet, is full of muscles, of God. And he has been with the Prophet, led most of the jihad, won and conquered. And so I dreamt of that Bildad around the Prophet. And I followed everything. So both fasting, prayers, actions, association. So my father was pleased. I wanted to make my father so, so proud. So, so proud. Because to you as a Muslim, your parents, the position of your parents, the vision of your parents takes 80% of your life. So that means your thought process, your relationship with people is actually determined by the atmosphere created by your parents. And so it's going to be your greatest pride to honor your parents, because it's like you are virtually honoring Allah physically. So this act of disobedience to parental guide is minimal, very, very minimal. So growing up as a child, at the age of 5, I started fasting.
Wow, at 5.
Yes, at 5.
Like what kind of fasting?
Fasting.
As in no food for a whole day, for 3 days?
Yeah, the whole day. Just the Ramadan fast.
Okay. And this is normal practice for Christians, for Muslims at 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a normal one when you come from a very committed, addicted Islamic family. Because you will have the suhoor, that's the breaking of to eat the meal before you start the fast. Everybody will be up. And you will eat the meal, preparing for the day. I began praying, the regular prayers at that age. So I had basically 3 way of life, just like my dad. My dad had a triangular life from his office to the mosque, the house, office, mosque. I've never seen my father going out for clubbing. I've never seen my father going out to meet people and have what they call social life. No, it's his life revolves around his family and his faith, and so his work. So I saw a man that came up very disciplined and dedicated. My father was a real man that everybody will really desire in terms of his commitment to the family. Based on our tradition, if you're a male child, there are certain things that you're not allowed to do. But my father built a family where the male children do the things that the female one do. And so my father cooks. My father supports my mom. And so as the male children, we go to kitchen, we cook, we wash. My father is a top disciplinarian. He doesn't tolerate indiscipline in the family. Respect is a key factor with my mom. So we grew up in that environment, and his life was morally sound. Morally sound. If my dad tells you yes, you can go to bed, it's yes. If my dad tells you no, you can be sure it's no. If my dad says I'm going all out with you. It doesn't matter the pressure anywhere. He will go all out for you. And my father was extremely very excited. I was an obedient child. Like I said, never wanted to give my dad one pain. So I started getting deeper. So around the age of 7, 8, I started seeing spirits, what we call the Aljin, the white demons. I started seeing them. We will have conversation. We'll have discussions.
Wait, so let's just break that down. With your eyes open or in dream encounters?
We don't believe of revelations as Muslims. The only person that had revelation was Prophet Muhammad. But it was a physical thing. I will sit right in my room and I will see them.
And they'll come and you start talking
And
to
we'll
them.
talk. Yeah.
And is it often when you're on your own? Will people around you see them too?
No.
Just you see
Just
them.
me.
And
The only thing is, if you're close by, you hear me talk.
and like in the Islamic world, is that like Islamic theology for that?
No. Except for Al-Jinn, certain supernatural visitations that come. But very, very, very. But it's all attributed to the Prophet. All right? But you can be influenced by these powers because they are Jinn. They term like pure demons. That's what they call white demons. Okay? So they influence most of the actions of jihadists.
Right. So when you say these demons were talking to you, what did they look like?
They are creatures. They look just different creatures.
Animal creatures?
Yes, sometimes they come with the face of animals.
Like how like is it like a hybrid, like a human body, animal head?
They're sometimes full, and sometimes you see the parts of the body are not just together. It's like a beast.
Beast, yeah.
Right. It's like a beast. And the beast is not like what you know of the beast, Usually you feel the face distorted. No. This one you can see the head is down, their legs are up, and then they come in the form of human. And sometimes they come in the form of angels.
As in like an angel of light looking good.
They look good, yes. They look good. They come like angels. They speak with you. And what they do is each time they come to me, they reaffirm, they strengthen me in my convictions of what I learned or what have been taught
from Islam.
So they just come, reaffirm, re-strengthen my conviction. So those experiences were making me much more addicted to my faith. Much more. So there was this growing of Islam and the Prophet Muhammad overshadowing every aspect of me. And there was this diminishing of any other thing. And that means that no any other faith is supposed to be standing than Islam. So if I see, for instance, I see you as a Christian, there is this natural hate that comes up. I see you as a slave and a servant and as abominable. If I see you as a Jew, I hate you. Now, those appearances and encounters were influenced by the teachings. So when we go to the Quranic, the key teachings you receive is kill the infidel. Kill the infidel. So you constantly keep hearing, don't have anything to do with the Christian. The Christian is a rebel against God's divine order. The saying Jesus Christ is the Son of God. So that line of statement influences everything. Then the other one is everybody in the world must bow to Islam. So if anybody will resist the message of Islam, clear him or her out. So you receive this, as a little child. I've been indoctrinated. And this message of conquest, don't forget that growing up, I dreamt to be like the Sahaba and the Prophet Muhammad. So I came up growing up with the mind, with the picture of fighting the cause of Islam. So I go to attend the Quranic school. And the Malam, all the teaching is always centered on submission to Allah, honor to his prophet, which is the last messenger of God, and is the ultimate messenger of God. And then subscribing to the other one, if anybody conquer the world by whatever means, for Allah will bless you. So I grew up with that mindset. Now, and then I was having also this
Supernatural encounters.
spiritual encounter, which were demonic. Later I got to know when I got saved, basically. But all of those things, everybody who's seen me has been very, very addictive, committed to the cause. My father loved it. My brothers, we were all committed into the Islamic forward. But two of us were major. Myself and one of my brother, Abubakar, is an Islamic scholar.
So he's still a...
Yeah, he's still a Muslim. We have a divide in the family now. We have Muslims and Christians. So, very, very important. So there is this love flowing between parents and children and parents. So we had a very harmonious family. The one thing I can tell you is that every committed Islamic family, there is a culture that governs us. And you realize that it doesn't matter your exposure, it doesn't matter your experience out in the world, it does not change the fact of the, let me use the word, the ideas or the ideologies, that the philosophy that governs what you do as a family. So you go into the society, you're going with a mission. You go into systems, you go with a mission. You go into business transactions, you go with a mission. And that mission is don't allow the world to conquer you, you conquer.
Yeah.
So from there, around the age of 12, I started going for Islamic training as a militant.
Okay, so can you just help us understand how that works? Is that something that is by default people who are Muslims going to, or is it like you have to be chosen? Is it like a special...
It's something that is always thrown at every family, a Muslim family.
An option.
And if you want to really be a defender of Islam, you will really desire it, because that is the best thing. Remember that your craving is to behave like the Prophet. And there are certain truths which nobody can do. The way the Prophet Muhammad lived his life and the Sahabas, and how they were able to conquer territories and brought people to subjection to Islam.
So are you saying then that option is also offered to Muslims in the West? It's not just something...
No. It's all over. All over the world, there are sects of Muslims that go into the parliament. They don't go into the parliament to seek for just law. No. They seek for...
militant.
Yeah, they seek for a law that will enhance Islamism. It's going on in Europe. It's going on as I talk to you right now. It's going on. And they are breeding very fast. In the late 80s, there's one of the books I wrote, I Won the West. At that time, it was the name. But I said, watch it, because I was part of the people. They bring out the agenda. The teachers, this is their danger. This is the agenda of what we want to accomplish in 10 years. This is what we want to accomplish in 50 years.
So they think in decades.
Yeah. Now they look at the population, they look at where they are, they look at and say, okay, This place is 10,000 people, and our population is 1,000. How do we? Because they know the power of numbers, so they now initiate the process of mass reproduction. So you realize that instead of giving birth to two, one person, one Muslim family will give birth to 12. The birth of that number is not that they don't know their ability, but they look at the goal of getting the number to dominate. And the moment they are able to dominate, they bring everybody
Under.
to under the reality. So coming up, it's a pride for me to become a member of the military. So we were taken away to outside the city. We go into a desert place for training. And so we come back home in the evening. Our parents are so excited, very happy. We began the guerrilla training, the drilling, the military.
Wait, are you telling me that this is also happening? This sort of training will be happening in the UK?
It's going on. It's going on. The thing is, we are so disciplined that a lot can happen in this room that can blow up everywhere in the city. And you will. One thing I can tell you is that the Muslims are good in keeping information.
Wow. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, very good. In keeping information, extremely very good. So, coming up, I went. That was how I learned military training. I didn't go to military school. I learned manual. I didn't join the Boy Scout. I went to Islamic military training for the defense of Islam. And it was the most glorious thing. We contributed our resources. Our parents gave us both our uniforms, our boots, the instruments we were using, our donations, and all of them. Our parents were doing it because they are proud that we are coming up for the defense of Islam. And basically, psychologically, you are influenced that if you die for the cause of advancing Islam, there is the greater part of your reward. So the Bible gives you such a picture. For instance, one lady in heaven, Allah should open the heaven for you, for her to smile. Just one of her kids alone is able to seduce you and you get lost. So we see this picture. That's the one part of the reward. And these are the rewards Allah will give to you in Al Jannah. So we go. I did the training, I died, and it took us a number of few years for those training. And you build yourself in boxing, karate, in weapon handling, guerrilla training, and all of that. So that informed now later on forming what we call the Jama'atul Nasr Islam in Nigeria in 1976.
Okay, before I get to explain that, you're doing all this training alongside your normal education.
Yes, I was doing that.
So now can you explain that thing you said in 1986?
1976.
76.
Yeah, so that was how we got to form the Jama'atul Nasr Islam. The Jama'atul Nasr Islam was formed to protect the interests of Islam in Nigeria. It was formed to become like the militant arm of Islam in Nigeria. It was formed to be able to make sure that it also preserves the economic power of Muslims in Nigeria. So basically, that was the group that we were around. So you have a captain, you have a major, you have a major general, and all of that in the military. And so I was meant to be part of the strategic team. The strategic team are the ones who develop the war tactics, strategy of city invasion, strategy in Islamic invasion. And so we now came up with what's called the Islamic young people, young men together with some elders. And it was a blueprint for over 50 years. And that blueprint is being followed today.
So that blueprint from 1976, that blueprint is running right now in Nigeria right now.
That's part of what
The issues are. Wow. So at this point, you were still in your teens.
Yes.
And then, did you end up getting involved in any kind of actual physical acts?
Yeah, of course. You have to. At that time, basically, the Boko Haram and others kind of acts was not fully manifested. We had more of psychological, economic, political warfare, and spiritual warfare. Okay? And so we were all involved. And the joy, what makes you happy actually, is when you go to the field, you carry out some boxing, and then what the picture you have is you seeing yourself knocking out a Christian. Yeah, knocking out a Christian. And so or the Jew or the Western. We hated the West. The West were our main enemies, right? So basically, psychologically, you're already influenced, and so your thoughts have been controlled by that same spirit. So as a teenager, the most of the people that actually carry out Islamic advancements are not the elderly. Are usually the teens and the youth.
Wow.
Yeah. 75% of Islamic jihadists are between the age of 12 and 30.
Wow. And you didn't tell us where you lived in Nigeria this time. Where were you guys?
I was
in Maiduguri. Okay. That's like in the north.
in
That's
the family,
in the north.
and that is the epicenter of it. So most of the places we train, if you have read my book,